Wow, y'all, there's an update. This particular story has been covered by several live streamers at this point who have, like to follow true crime. Sarah Boone is the character who basically zipped her boyfriend Jorge into a suitcase and suffocated him to death. Um, and I don't know if she's gone to trial yet because all of her attorneys kept quitting on her. she couldn't, she couldn't get anybody to represent her because she's apparently so fucking difficult to work with. All right, let's see how this goes, you guys. So
This is
good.
going to be a Patreon-only video. I wanted to say thank you for the support, especially given my erratic uploading and the huge swell of new people coming here. So today I will be reading some of the letters from Sarah Boone to the judge in her legal case. As noted in our original coverage, Sarah is a narcissist who is completely unable to see herself as she is, as narcissists are apt to do. In statements she would give to the police, she would describe herself as a workaholic who strived for success in everything she did. She was a loving mother, a great wife, and a pillar in her own community.
Right.
But none of that was actually accurate. All of Sarah's accomplishments had occurred early in life, and she hung desperately to those lone moments of validation, going so far as to tell police that she was a straight-A student when she was arrested and interviewed, despite it being decades since she was in school. In her adulthood, she had become a lazy, rude, and entitled person who would often drink the day away with other men. Her husband would end up divorcing her after she, while drunk, invited multiple people over to their home, with their child sleeping in the other room. She had begun dating Jorge Torres, Jr. after her separation, and the pair was extremely toxic. Both abused each other, and Jorge's family had asked him repeatedly to end the relationship. Boone was charged with domestic violence by strangulation in July 2018. She and Torres had been living together for a year and a half. Torres grew upset, according to Boone, when she spoke to another man at a pub. Torres took her upstairs and kicked her in the right eye when they arrived home, she claimed. Meanwhile, he informed detectives that Boone had attempted to choke him. He claimed he had to kick her off in order to survive. Police investigated both stories, but as it was a clear-cut case of he said, she said, there was no way of knowing which story was accurate. Torres was charged with battery, while Boone was charged with aggravated battery with strangulation. They declined to bring charges against each other, and the case was subsequently dismissed. Torres was accused of punching Boone at least twice in June of 2019. The cops once responded to a domestic violence report at the couple's residence. Torres allegedly struck Boone on the head, face, knees, and arms. Torres was arrested in September of 2019 for breaking his probation. He broke through Boone's bedroom door while she was sleeping and hit her in the head, according to the criminal complaint. But, despite these and other issues, they continued to see each other. That is, until February 23rd, 2020. According to Sarah, it had been an average day, when at night, Jorge and her decided to split a bottle of wine. Once they had finished, she apparently stated that they should play a rousing game of hide-and-seek, and she asked Jorge to try and stuff himself inside of a suitcase that was lying on the living room floor. He did so, thinking she would let him out, but she never did. Instead, she filmed the suitcase, laughing as he struggled to get out, and saying it was punishment for everything he had done to her. He repeatedly told her that he was unable to breathe, and she needed to let him out, but she did nothing but laugh. The next day, around 1 p.m., Sarah called the police and said, quote, my boyfriend and I were playing last night, and I put him in the suitcase when we were playing, a hide-and-seek kind of thing. She went on to say she fell asleep and didn't realize Torres was still in the suitcase when she woke up a few hours later at about 11 a.m. She claims she unzipped the suitcase and found Torres unresponsive and not breathing. She phoned her ex-husband, who urged her to call 911. Sarah was subsequently charged with second-degree murder and as of today is being held in Orange County Jail without bail. The original video will be left in the description box if you would like a further explanation of events, as well as a breakdown of Sarah's behavior and psyche. That will be necessary viewing, as there will be instances in the video where I reference that. But since her time in prison, Sarah has not been very happy. As far as she's concerned, she is innocent of all charges, and everything that has occurred in the case has been a great miscarriage of justice. She has gone through multiple lawyers, with them filing court documents stating that she is hostile, controlling, and argumentative with them. Moreover, she refuses to listen to their advice, repeatedly stating that they work for her, not the other way around. Like Tony Todd and other narcissists that we have covered on the channel, she is of the belief that if she just talks to people and is left in charge of her own defense, she will get off scot-free. The reality that she exists in is one where she is in the right, and those who don't agree with her are simply the ones with the issue. In her mind, her defense informing her that the evidence against her is vast, and there is a literal video of her laughing while her boyfriend dies at her own hand, and that she should be open to taking a plea deal is a massive betrayal. Similarly, she refuses to let her lawyers do their jobs, thinking that they need to bend to her schedule first and foremost. When working a legal case, lawyers will spend hours a day reaching out to experts, interviewing family and friends, getting arguments together, and trying to build a case for the client. It's very common not to speak to a lawyer for weeks at a time because they are off trying to build their case. But that's unacceptable to Sarah. Each lawyer that has worked with her has...
Well, and not only that, it's not like she's the only case that a lawyer has. You know, these are public defenders, probably. They're not going to be... I don't think, I don't think she's got, like, a huge legal defense fund going for her or anything. She fucking killed her boyfriend by stuffing him in a suitcase. And he had head injuries before he was... he has head injuries before he even gets in the suitcase. So it sounds kind of like from the previous videos that I've watched on this particular case, it sounds like she did something to make him very dazed and confused before putting him in that suitcase and zipping it up. And then she just fucking left him there for hours, for like overnight. She went to bed, right? I don't know how long he stayed alive. I don't think they ever disclosed that in the videos that have been shown so far, like what the forensics came up with of when, like how long he survived. But they did, at least in one of the videos that I watched, they said it would have been a very slow and very painful death because it was asphyxiation by way of pressure, basically, that because he was in such a contained space, and there was a little bit of air, right, because it's like a cloth suitcase, but it's such a contained space, and it's putting pressure on his lungs so that he can't really inhale all that much. He can't really he's tucked up in like a really tight fetal position. And so it would have taken a long time to die, and it would have been very painful. And yeah, she acts like, if you look at the first video, she acts like a child. She acts like a petulant child. And she arranged the crime scene to look like they were playing children's games. And how many adults do you know that play hide and seek in, just like in their house? Just a couple, right? It's just a couple. And this isn't like some sort of church function where you're playing with a bunch of other adults at a church function or something like that. I could see that potentially happening, but this is one of the weirdest true crime stories I've seen. And I think it is to a lot of other people too. That's why so many live streamers have covered it.
Reported that she calls them repeatedly, multiple times a day, while they're working on her case. Sarah believed that her lawyers should be at her beck and call, willing to take calls from her daily and field all of her questions as she thought of them. When her lawyers refused to act in the manner...
Dude, I don't even do that with my own lawyer. And I still haven't gotten any medical treatment since December. Fuck's sake. I call like every couple of weeks or something. Hey, do we have a new doctor yet? I don't even harass my attorney that much. Oh my God, even.
that Sarah deemed acceptable, she would become agitated, getting friends and family to call the lawyers as often as possible, and yelling at them whenever they did talk. The following is her first bit of correspondence with the judge on her case, which was sent April 20th, 2022. Honorable Judge Wooten, thank you foremost in advance for your invaluable time and concern in this very unexpected and incredibly confusing matter. All right, we're off to a good start. I am writing in regards to the requested withdrawal, most importantly, of my attorney, Mauricio Padilla, and his/my team filed on April 18th, 2022, along with a continuance. Forgive me if this is the wrong approach in contacting you directly, but I wanted you to be fully aware of the magnitude of my shock and disappointment in the betrayal of Mr. Padilla, because I have not, in any way, by anyone, been provided any explanation for the aforementioned withdrawal, etc. To be clear, this is the motion to withdraw that her lawyer has turned in. As you can see, it states, the undersigned is forced to withdraw as irreconcilable differences have risen between undersigned and defendant that have made it impossible to represent the client, meaning simply, he couldn't move forward because they weren't seeing eye to eye on how to move forward. It's fairly clear cut, but the explanation is unacceptable.
Yeah, basically, he's giving her legal advice, saying this is how we need to proceed. And she's like, I don't believe you, and I'm not going to do it this way, right? Well, you can't have, hire an attorney. Actually, I think these are probably public defenders, but you can't, have somebody representing you and then reject everything that they tell you. And it sounds like she's gone through several lawyers at this point.
To Sarah, I unfortunately had to learn of these documents by my former husband when calling to speak with my son. After making a commitment to me as my attorney over the past 2 years and 2 months, ongoing to fully and sufficiently represent me, also being made to believe we are a team, I am completely blindsided. Nonetheless, in how this was and is being handled by a, quote, professional, I do not understand. With that being said, Your Honor, I am graciously requesting in present pleas at this hearing on Friday, April 29th, 2022 at 9:30 a.m. so I am able to learn more and also explain the ongoing legitimate hindrances I have been facing, along with my inability to amply progress in the preparation for my upcoming trial and future. Sarah is very keen on trying to make herself look more intelligent than she is, which is why you see her using bigger and bigger words than are necessary, instead of simply saying, I am shocked at my lawyer at the motion to withdraw, and I am unhappy with how it is being handled, which is concise, easy to write, and get your point across easily. She feels the need to use multisyllabic words that don't necessarily make any sense in the context she is using them.
Right.
Saying she is graciously requesting to be present and that she wants to learn about the legitimate hindrances, it's all a ploy to make her appear more intelligent and reasonable than she is. Most people have a belief that using this kind of flowery, overcomplicated, or abecedarian language is a sign of acute intelligence, when in reality it's just too much. In my opinion, these concerns are what spurred these requests by my attorney in the first place. It is undoubtedly of the utmost importance to me to fight for my truth, and in which I thought my attorney was doing also. So again, I get what she's saying, but that was genuinely a stupid way of saying it. Moreover, fighting for her truth in this scenario is ridiculous. In case she wasn't aware, there's a video online of her while she's killing her boyfriend and sort of mocking and celebrating his death. There's no explanation of events that makes her actions acceptable or good. My truth is a phrase.
To his point, there's an expression that we use in proposal writing called KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. And it's basically that you don't need to try and illustrate your extensive vocabulary when you're writing. The main goal of writing is to communicate a thought, right? So you're just trying to make it as clear as possible. But that's not how this girl rolls. She definitely wants to try and be like, look at me, I'm so smart. I'm so smart that I put my boyfriend in a suitcase and killed him, right?
That should be used when talking about a situation where your interpretation of events differs from others. Not when you kill someone, but don't think you should be in prison. Thank you beyond measure for your very much needed assistance and understanding. I am flying blind. I don't know the process, procedure, or protocol for any of this, since I have never been in the current situation or situations I am in. Yes, obviously, most people in prison awaiting trial for murder have never been in prison awaiting trial for murder. I am eager to meet with you to further explain any and all question or concerns whomever may have. Please know with great emphasis, I just want to move forward, especially for the length of time already being incarcerated, and remedy this entire predicament, however that may be, in the best possible manner. Have my best interest and security above all else. As previously mentioned, Sarah believes if she can be left alone with the judge, if she can talk to them for just a few moments, she'll be able to convince them that she is a good person, and therefore, her leaving her boyfriend to suffocate in a suitcase was just an unfortunate accident. She's going out of her way to use flowery, overly kind words in order to appeal to the judge, and make them think of her as just a nice woman who might have gotten caught up in something unscrupulous. Again, I thank you profusely. I await your response with further direction in order to be in attendance and proceed forward. Exceptionally grateful, Sarah Boone. The next letter she would send would be on October 3rd, 2022, this time to her new lawyer, Frank Bankowitz. Because this letter is to her lawyer and not the judge in the case, pay attention to the tone and the words she uses, and compare them to how she's...
I'm surprised we got a copy of this one, because I would think that she has attorney-client privilege, but I suppose, I'm guessing maybe it's possible that she sent this after he had already stepped off the case. Let's see what it has to say.
Added in the first letter 6 months earlier. Mr. Bankowitz, I am writing in regards to not hearing from you and am becoming very concerned after receiving no response to any of my daily calls or from the letters I've sent. As previously stated, to expect to hear from your lawyer daily in a case like this is highly unlikely, especially if this is a lawyer who is trying to catch up to a case this size. He would be going over all the previous lawyer's work, meeting with experts, talking to friends and family, character witnesses, and trying to get an argument together. He wouldn't be able to sit down and give his client a rundown of his daily tasks, and to think so would be incredibly strange. As of today, October 3rd, you've been my court-appointed attorney for almost 3 months, 12 weeks, 84 days, and only spoken to me 3 times. July 14th, 2022, video instruction, 15 minutes. August 2nd, 2022, video update, 15 minutes. August 22nd, 2022, visit in person, 90 minutes. I have written 2 letters in the meantime also. My most recent I sent September 12th, 2022, with no response. I am unaware of the difficulties you're having in communicating with me, video, phone, in person, especially via phone, which to me is the simplest form of doing so, even if just for a brief update, which takes only minutes. I believed you. I believed by you giving me your personal cell number, you were going to answer. I would at least known all is well and have a better understanding of the status of some things, what to plan on, or what I may need to work on. With no communication, makes my end more difficult, drawn out, and painful. Please figure out whatever necessary for my phone calls to be answered, which you will be reimbursed for when you submit your cost. It feels at this rate of communication and meetings, and you just coming on board, not having all of my discovery to go over on top of everything else to be done in depth. How much longer am I really going to be here added to the 32 months already? Especially if we communicate however you eventually do only 1 time a month. If that, as for all of the month of September, I know nothing from hearing from you. It's strange that Sarah seems to be aware of how much work and pressure her lawyer would be under, given that he has to catch up to 2 years of work done by other lawyers, but is unable to grasp that because of that, he wouldn't be available to her at all hours of the day. Again, he would be going over years of court orders, discovery, and details, and that's before considering that he has other clients.
Well, and normally what you would do, I mean, I've never been in jail, so I imagine that being detained, you know, she was, I think, originally arrested in 2020, right before we went into the pandemic. And I know she was concerned about the cell size, that she said she was claustrophobic, which is somewhat ironic given how she killed her boyfriend. But usually what I do, I know what I do when I have to deal with attorneys is I communicate. I'll leave them a message and say, hey, let me know when's a convenient time for you to set up like a brief meeting with me or just have a conversation with me about my case. But I don't why the hell would you push somebody who's helping you, somebody who's legitimately trying to help you with your case, why would you be an asshole to that person? You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
For her to want to talk to him daily is absurd. I understand that you have other clients, as I am one also, and you've been recuperating from your back. But remember, please, how long I've been here. You are my 6th attorney, not by choice. In the magnitude of my case, with not knowing what's going on, or where you are, how much harder it is for me.
God.
It is not, in fact, harder for her. I want to get on with my life, Mr. Bankowitz, and not miss any more time necessary from my son. I've already missed 4 of his birthdays, and I've already spent 3 of my own in here. Please understand. Again, she's under the belief that at the end of the trial, she will be getting out, and I cannot emphasize how that will not happen. There's no way forward from what she did to where she...
Yeah, she thinks that she's gonna get, like, time served. Good luck, girlfriend.
gets away with murder. But she's completely unaware of that and fully believes that if her lawyer calls her every day, if she can have one-on-one time with the judge, she'll be found innocent and maybe even given financial compensation by the state of Florida.
Oh, wow.
No, too. I am patient.
Oh, really?
She sounds like a mob boss. I am the danger. Clearly, after all the time already invested and still smiling. See, Sarah's fine. She doesn't give a fuck. And Sarah is willing to go above and beyond whatever
wow.
I/we need to do to properly and truthfully convey my very convoluted, misunderstood
I am the one who knocks, right?
side of everything, which I boldly told you in our meeting last month. I am dedicated, ready to state and overdo. Have you ever met someone who continues to do things that harm others, all the while stating that they're the victim in every situation? Someone who seems to lack so much self-awareness to their own issues that it seems impossible that they even understand reality. I think in modern times, a person like this can be called a lot of things. Overdramatic, delusional, and in some cases, a Karen. Sarah is all of those things.
Yes.
In her letter, reprimanding her 6th court-appointed attorney after the previous lawyers left because she was unreasonable and aggressive for not making themselves available to her every day. She states that she is an incredibly patient, understanding woman. Every part of this case and her behavior shows the exact opposite.
Yep.
But she wholeheartedly believes that that isn't the case. I am so very grateful, Mr. Bankowitz, for you.
Is this going to be admissible in court? I wonder. Probably not, right? Probably not. But it should be, because it demonstrates that she's a liar and that she's completely delusional, you know? It should be admissible in court. Wow, that's such a weird case, you guys.
All that you're doing, have done, and will do. We're in this together, and I'm so blessed that you're my attorney. God has put us in each other's paths for a reason, and I can't wait to see what you and he will do. I'm praying the 6th time is the charm. Please respond. I await your response. Thank you profusely, Sarah Boone. 1 month later, Sarah would send this letter to the judge, November 3rd, 2023, 4 weeks exactly since last letter. Honorable Judge Wooten, forgive me in advice for having to utilize your invaluable time to ask the current progress of my case. But after not having any form of communication with my attorney appointed by you now, after 11 weeks and counting, after sending 4 letters to my attorney appointed by you with no response, and after finally finding an outside source to inform me of the uneventful, confusing filed documents online by my attorney appointed by you, I am still waiting with the perpetual question mark over my head. The perpetual question mark over my fucking...
Oh my god, dude, she's like Trump. She's like Trump, dude. She's like attacking the very people who have her fate in their hands. She's like Trump, dude.
Head. Where the hell is my goddamn attorney, bro? I don't know how she thinks this is going to be productive, but, I mean, here we go. This letter is notably different from the first one she sent to the judge, in that in this letter, she is now holding him directly responsible for her attorney's actions. Her attorney not having time for her and calling her daily is now the judge's fault, because he was the one to appoint him to her case. She is beginning to believe that there is a conspiracy against her in this court, and that the judge is secretly behind it. Why else would he appoint an attorney to her case who wouldn't call her back? No letters, no video visits, no face-to-face visits, no answered phone calls from my attorney, or even a response from you, Your Honor, regarding my letters expressing my legitimate concern of what's going on in my case. And where's my attorney? To be clear, a defendant talking directly to the judge in a case, especially over matters of their own defense, the way Sarah wants to here, is ridiculous. She's basically asking the judge to work as a go-between between her lawyer and her, and give her special treatment. In no way is that a reasonable request. It has now been 4 months since being appointed another attorney, number 6, and not by my decision, influence, or choice. In almost 3 of 4 months, not hearing from said attorney. 8/22/22, last correspondence. Why? What is the reason? Why haven't I received a letter, a 15-minute video update, anything? Even after my PTC on October 25th is what truly confuses me and nonetheless upsets me is the fact that I was not in attendance so I could know what is going on in my case, especially considering I have not heard from my attorney in 11 weeks and should have been included.
Oh my God, seriously, like anytime that I have an attorney go into court for me and I don't have to show up in person, I'm so thankful. Like seriously, please just handle it for me. You're the one with the legal knowledge. This is not my specialty. Just please go in. Anytime I don't have to go in, this is great. I don't want to go in. I don't like it when I have to go in. So if you're going to be able to represent me without my presence, this is fucking fantastic. This woman is so delusional, dude. It's just so... Like, literally, dude is probably trying to, like, come up with the best plea deal possible right now. And she's thinking she's going to get off scot-free because she's like, but my story, and I'm sticking to it, is that we were just playing games and he just accidentally died because I forgot him in the suitcase that I zipped him up in, right?
Okay, so no, she shouldn't have been. The reason that the defendant isn't included in every court hearing regarding the case is straightforward and simple. They do not need to be, especially a defendant like Sarah, who believes she knows better than her lawyers and feels like she should be involved in her own defense. It's clear that she would not be able to handle sitting in the court and not responding to each and every statement that she doesn't agree with, which is why she isn't given the chance. She knows what is happening in the case, because in her past letters, she describes what her lawyer is doing. He's going through old discoveries, and making up for past times. But in her mind, she needs to be included in that, which, to be clear, would only make things take longer. The respectful, flowery language has completely dissipated, and now she's basically yelling at the judge in her own case, which I find to be mildly amusing, obviously. Why was I not? This is my case. She says that as if she's the one in charge of the case, and not the person on trial for murder. Was Mr. Bankowitz even there to represent me? I don't know. Anything. Still. The problem is that my constitutional rights are being waived without my knowledge or permission. I've never signed anything nor verbalized the idea that I wish to, quote, waive my appearances to any of my court dates. I want to be present for all dates. Going forward, please, regardless of significance. All are significant to me since my attorney fails to relay any information.
I literally didn't even appear for all of my divorce court dates. Anytime my attorney told me that I didn't have to be there, I was not there. Are you kidding me? If my attorney said I didn't have to show up to an appearance, I was like, that's fantastic.
In any way. If he's not going to, I must myself and for myself. As always, my entire life. What else can I do? Who else can I seek help from? I have you and God Judge Wooten. If I do have an attorney, where is he? There's so much to do all over in my case. Hopefully the right way this time. Because off to a rocky start, where I wonder, how more extended will my time be on top of the almost soon-to-be 36 months, 3 years already? Statements like this are why her lawyers have left.
Yeah.
If you are working with a lawyer and you repeatedly make statements like this, your lawyer will believe that you are dissatisfied with their services and request to leave. Especially if you are writing the judge directly, stating that you are unhappy with their services. Is this how the justice system really works? Am I being penalized for wanting to be fully involved in everything in my case and intelligent enough to know how my case is being handled is just unjust and, from my point of view, disastrous, considering I'm still sitting.
Well, and on top of it, if she continues to behave like this, she's not even going to get like an early parole or anything because she's being so fucking difficult that she hasn't even gone through the trial yet. She hasn't gotten sentenced yet. And even if they give her some level of time served for the 3 years that she's dragged this shit out, they're not going to relieve her sentence at any point because she's so fucking difficult that I mean, when you get paroled, you do so because you're paroled on good behavior. You're doing the right thing and following discipline and being cooperative. But it's very clear that she cannot take direction whatsoever. And by the way, I think it should be noted that, like he said, she was drinking all day. She had a serious drinking problem, right? And that's what kind of led up to this very violent relationship that she had where she ends up killing her boyfriend. The thing is, these letters are written sober, because they don't have alcohol in prison. These letters are her being sober, right?
In Orange County Jail, counting the days and praying my sixth attorney contacts me and I/we can move forward. Finally coming to an end, this seemingly endless debacle. the murder... the murder that you filmed like was a debacle. That's just who knows? Right. This crazy misunderstanding. I don't know how I got here. It's just so wild. You would think, considering the circus show my entire case is being made out to be, with all the hype, sensationalism, and publicity, I received a letter all the way from across the pond, England, the other day. It would be being handled more professional, better. Sarah believes because people have watched videos about her case and people are horrified at her behavior that she is a celebrity of some sort. I learn something new every day about facts, events, and outcomes in my case from all the inmates and officers as well. I wonder if they might know where my attorney is. Bottom line, please understand I don't want to be here any longer. I don't want to be hindered any longer in just getting to the starting line again.
Hinder?
I don't want to be suppressed and being heard finally, truthfully, and correctly. So when, Judge Wooten, when will I hear from my attorney? Or you, please? Just some type of response, other than a copy of my letters that I keep sending, which I already have. In the meantime, it is my understanding that the following documents have been filed in my case since the appointment of Frank Bankowitz. My attorney, MIA. 7/11, Bankowitz appointed. 7/12, PTC order. Pre-trial 10/25, trial 11/7. 8/29, pre-trial, canceled. 9/23, notice of unavailability. State 10/7, correspondence. My letter to Bankowitz. 10/12, correspondence to defendant. Copy of my letter.
Oh, you know what she's doing, dude? She's trying to go for she's trying to say that that part of our constitutional rights is like the expediency of the trial, right? Like and that it's getting dragged out, but that's not an argument because she's dragging it out herself, right?
10/24, notice of appearance. For what? Had 3 years ago. Not guilty pleas. Already filed. Waiver of appearance. Never signed or agreed to. Compensation. For what? What's been done? 10/25, substituting conflict counsel. Who is my attorney? 10/25, PTC. 11/17/2023. Trial. 1/30/2023. That's it. In the almost 4 months I've been a client of Mr. Bankowitz, this is the only, quote, progress? What's next? And where are my copies of everything filed ever? This is one way I can have some idea of what's happening, and please remember, I have no access to a computer, not any reliable outside source to check anything for me. Please mail copies. I'm trying to come up with any...
Oh, give me a break. They have access to a legal library. They do. That's something that's available to prisoners, to be able to represent themselves. She could totally be doing the research and asking very specific and pointed questions. And notice I love this dreading channel, by the way. Kudos to you on your coverage. But you're not pointing out that she's like specifically underlining shit. She's like for emphasis, right? She's specifically underlining shit.
Solution possible to keep me, the other party in my case, informed and updated. This also is part of the court's responsibility.
Wow.
I would especially think, knowing I've not heard from my attorney in any way for 11 weeks. I want to be included. As always, I thank you for your time and understanding. Please help whenever able.
Girl.
I am not helpless. And I am ready to get the show on the road and hear from someone other than myself asking the same question over and over and over again. What is going on in my case?
Wow.
Or how many more pen will I exhaust asking? Grateful and patiently waiting.
No,
I will await your response. Sincerely, Sarah Boone.
No, that's my eyesight.
So you're a busy attorney.
Okay.
At the end of her letter, Sarah has exhausted all pleasantries. Her repeated statements about being kind, understanding, and patient went way out the window.
Yeah.
And she very aggressively let the judge in her case know that she doesn't think he's doing his job. The next letter Sarah sent was exactly a month after. Summary of progress. Numbers only, it's all I have. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of her letter, she has always been sure to address who she is speaking with, writing a ceremonial, dear or honorable judge, before scolding them, of course. But here, she doesn't do that. She is well and truly sick of everyone she has to speak to, not least of which is the judge. In her mind, he's someone she is completely comfortable talking down to. Number 1. Since appointed by court, Frank J. Bankowitz, attorney number 6, July 11th, 2023, 21 weeks. 147 days and counting. Number 2. Since last spoke to Frank J. Bankowitz, attorney number 6, August 22nd, 2022, 15 weeks, 105 days.
Oh my God, this must be such a nightmare for any public defender that she just won't listen to anybody. I don't know how any of these men in her life actually dated her because she's not listening to anybody. These are people who are skilled, educated, know exactly what they're doing, and she's like, I know better than you. I know I was a day drinker, but holy shit. This is so crazy, you guys.
And counting. There is something incredibly funny about the fact that Sarah believes repeatedly writing that Frank is her 6th court-appointed lawyer is somehow a slight to him and not to her.
Right.
Most defendants don't go through 6 lawyers in the course of their first trial. Most only get 1, and they work with them throughout their entire trial. But Sarah is so rude and demanding that 6 separate lawyers have left her defense team because of her behavior. But she perceives them leaving not as a sign of her own poor behavior, but somehow a sign that her 6th lawyer is somehow deficient, which is obviously ridiculous. Number 3. Since pretrial conference, no response from attorney or court. October 25th, 2022. 6 weeks, 42 days and counting. Number 4. Since my last letter to judge regarding MIA attorney and case. November 3rd, 2022. 4 weeks, 32 days and counting. Number 5. Total hours represented by Frank J. Bankowitz. 3,528 and counting.
Wow.
Total hours spent with client, Sarah Boone, 2. Where's my attorney? Where are you, Judge Wooten? I understand the holiday mode everyone is in, as we inmates sit and wait for it to pass. But before we come to the end of the year, and another year, almost 3 for me, in Orange County Corrections Department, it would be respectful of the court to please advise the status and location of my attorney forevermore, and also provide any...
Just for clarification, because I know a lot of my followers are from Orange County, California. She's in Orange County, Florida, I think. I believe that's where she's sitting, is Orange County, Florida. There's a lot of Orange counties around the country. I think there's one in New York, too. But I believe this is Florida. This is one of these crazy-ass Florida cases.
Real progress of my case, which is difficult to do and further without an attorney. Nonetheless, after being appointed so many, I thought hopefully the level of dysfunction would have lessened. To be clear, the level of dysfunction in this case is being caused by her, almost like it's some sort of judicial quicksand, but she seems entirely unaware of that. Bankowitz is a court-appointed lawyer, meaning that he has a plethora of cases he's needed on, and cannot solely focus on Sarah the way she wants him to. Similarly, Judge Wooten is a judge. He oversees multiple cases, and can't follow Bankowitz around all day to relay what is going on to Sarah. Meanwhile, Sarah wants a progress update on a case that isn't close to going to trial, given how much work her lawyer has to do. Unfortunately to date, I am sadly mistaken and feel I've been severely misled. Even more unfortunate seemed to be the lack of representation from any part of my case. Other than myself, just look at the numbers. In the meantime, and in preparation for the upcoming, quote, status hearing on 12/20 at 10:45 a.m., which I just received notice of, thank you for the inclusion, I am in the process of writing our governor regarding the mismanagement of my case and the multiple obstacles and deterrent I am experiencing, trying to avoid any further time hindrances or setbacks going forward. Sarah is basically telling the judge here that she's going to complain to his manager, believing somehow that that will quicken the court case, which it won't. No sane person working in the legal system or in government would look at how this case is being handled and believe that Sarah is being unlawfully penalized. Again, she murdered a person. There's a video of her laughing as he's trapped in a little suitcase. She isn't going to explain that away and be released. Some of the major legitimate concerns of mine are the violations of my constitutional rights, the degree of neglect, and the nonchalant approach by everyone in my case to substantially progress, and the illegal, non-permissive release and distribution by the Orange County Sheriff's Department of crucial confidential case files, as well as videos, photographs, documents, etc., pertinent to my case, which I have not even seen or even know about. Everyone knows more than I do about my case. So this isn't actually illegal. It's in line with Florida's Freedom of Information Act. This is also the reason why the existence of Florida Man and Florida Woman headlines are so prevalent. Florida's Freedom...
FOIA is a federal law, first of all. But every state basically has to take all of the federal laws and then incorporate it into their state laws. And so they may not call it the same thing in every state. Like, for I think in California they call it like a records request or something like that, but it all falls under FOIA, which is the Freedom of Information Act, in which these documents are public. That's why I got doxxed, because people started sharing documents about me because I had a sexual harasser I was trying to get a restraining order against, right?
of Information Act is the Sunshine Law. The Florida Sunshine Law are a series of laws designed to guarantee that the public has access to public records, including all documents, papers, letters, maps, books, tapes, photographs, films, sound recordings, data processing software, or other material, regardless of physical form or characteristics, or means of transmission made or received pursuant to law, to ordinance, or any connection with the transaction of the official business by any agency. This means if you commit a crime in Florida, all relevant court records and accounts will be found online, which is how I and many other people have gained access to her letters. This is also why all relevant interrogation footage for this case has been released to the public. As a result, it is impossible to choose a jury that will be impartial, fair, and uninfluenced by all the mutated, exaggerated, hyped sensationalism. I do like the usage of the word mutated there. I think that's fun. Sounds like some sort of horrible beast of justice. But this is not true. Though Sarah's case has been widely reported on, not everyone living in the Orange County area will know anything about her case. It's very easy to think that millions of views and media attention means that everyone in the world knows about something. But some people don't watch the news. Others don't watch YouTube. And fewer still read newspapers. This being a significant reason I requested a change of venue previously. At this point, it will make no difference. There is nowhere I am not known. Again, patently false. But this has more to do with her ego. I have made a video on her and have kept up with her case. But truly, if she were walking down the street, I wouldn't know who she was. The premature, unfair judgment by everyone has wrongfully and inappropriately already been made. I haven't even seen my discovery or know where my attorney is. My sixth attorney. Not only am I the other party of my case, still in the dark with everything, I am blind and in the dark. This is wrong, unfair, especially for a still proud citizen of the United States of America,
Oh my
and
God.
unacceptable. There is more to everything, much more, and in which I have been patient to an extreme to explain, interpret, and educate what now seems to be the whole world. Okay, no, that's too much. Too much again. There is no way you can explain away locking someone in a suitcase and leaving them to die, all the while recording them and laughing as they plead for you to let them out. You could argue that Jorge was abusive and that you were acting in self-defense, but that argument goes out the window when he was defenseless in the suitcase. Had she left him there, gone to a neighbor, or called the police on him in the way she had done before, she wouldn't be on trial for murder. But she convinced him to get into her suitcase and left him to die. This is beyond the scope of a misunderstanding. I am hopeful the governor will be able to untangle the chaos and mistreatment. No one else seems to be available or willing to abide by the protocol of our, quote, justice system and rightfully eagerly apply themselves. I'm hoping still these aforementioned topics can be further discussed at the hearing on the 20th, and in which I am bringing to everyone's attention prior. I have not heard from my court-appointed attorney to date, so I am unaware of what else may be on the docket. It's time to finally move forward and in all the right ways. Happy holidays, Sarah Boone. But she was not done. In that same letter, she continues writing, Mr. Bankowitz, I am also sending a direct copy to you in case the court and/or judge does not, therefore giving no reason of any unsurety of my ongoing concerns regarding having no communication from you in any manner for almost 4 months. I believe the court and/or judge would have sent copies to you of all of my letters of them. But since I have been unsuccessful in receiving a response or update by their side also, I am taking it upon myself to make sure everyone is aware I am still sitting here waiting for you. Please respond. I look forward to seeing you at the hearing, if not before then, with very much overdue and anticipated progress.
Wow.
Thank you, Sarah Boone. 5 days after...
Okay, we're going to pause here because I'm reaching the point where my phone can't process a video longer than an hour, right? I mean, that's how court cases go. Sometimes you don't talk to your attorney for a long time because they're working on stuff. And they have other cases. It's not like you're the only person getting represented, you know? You can't be that demanding because, especially in the case, like with public defenders, I mean, they're basically assigned to you. So it's not like you're even paying them. And, you know, I feel that way also with, like, the attorneys that I've had that were working on a contingency. They were going to get, like, a percentage of the award. They knew that my case was going to merit some sort of award. And so, therefore, they were working on my case based on the fact that they were going to get a percentage of the settlement. You can't just fucking be that demanding. I mean, she should feel lucky that she has any sort of representation. I imagine she's trying to do something like, I have time served, blah blah blah, right? Okay, so we're gonna pause here, and I will do the second half of the video here in a minute.